Wild mushroom risotto is a classic Italian dish, but I'm going to turn up the volume. Instead of just using chicken stock, I'm using white wine. It gives it a really nice edge. And instead of just using one kind of mushroom, I'm using two. I'm going to have these creminis, and I'm also doing dried morels. They have really intense flavor. First thing you need to do is just heat up the chicken stock. It's 1 quart of chicken stock. I always use homemade, but if you need to, you can always use canned chicken stock. So these are morels. I've taken 1 ounce of dried morels. It's the wildest kind of mushroom. It's amazing that somebody actually thought you could eat one of these, but they're delicious, really intensely flavored. And I soak them for 30 minutes in 2 cups of boiling water. Sometimes there's a little grittiness in the bottom, and you don't want the morels to get mixed up in that grittiness. So I'm just gonna lift them out. I'm just gonna sieve it right through just a regular coffee filter, so I can use the liquid in the risotto and not have any of that grittiness in it. So just strain it right through. Perfect. I'm just gonna give them a rough chop. So the little ones, I'm just gonna chop them a little bit, straight across. Big ones maybe more. So these are cremini. I'm just gonna take the stems off. They're a little tougher than the tops. And just brush the tops a little bit with a damp paper towel. Make sure that there's no dirt on them. What you don't wanna do is wash them, because they just absorb all the water. Okay, big rough chop, just big slices. Okay, that's the mushrooms. Time to make the risotto. So what I did was I sauteed some onions and pancetta. It's that Italian bacon. It's fabulous. I'll show you what I did. I put 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter into the Dutch oven. And when it was melted, I added 2 ounces of diced pancetta, half a cup of chopped shallots, and then just let them saute for about 5 minutes. Next step, saute the mushrooms. I'm just gonna put them in the pot with the pancetta and shallots. Just saute them for about 5 minutes, just until they start to soften. This is the way they have the most flavor. Looks good already. Okay, next for the rice. You really do need arborio rice for this. Arborio really has sort of a starchiness that you need for risotto. Okay, 1.5 cups and a half. Fantastic. You can really find it in any grocery store now. And just give it a big stir so the rice is all coated in the butter. Okay, next is the wine. So I'm gonna use an all-purpose Pinot Grigio. It's a good dry white wine. And one of my rules is you always wanna choose something to cook with that you're gonna drink. Starting with, I'm only using half a cup, so you wanna be able to drink the rest of the bottle. Wine really makes a huge difference in risotto. Of course, you can just do it with chicken stock, but the edge that comes from the wine is really important. So I'm just gonna pour it in first. Everybody always asks me, what kind of wine do I drink? And the truth is, I'm really not an expert, so I always go to the experts. I've asked my friend Jacques Franey at Domaine Franey to help me out, and he gives me great advice.
Hi, Ina. Many recipes are looking for a specific wine, and it's great to use that wine. But if you're looking for a really good general red, I like a Côte d'Aron. Côte d'Aron is a region in France. The wines are rich, they're full-bodied, have a lot of flavor. And they're not very expensive. Now for white, it's a little harder to pick one specific white, but I like to use a Sauvignon Blanc. Sauvignon Blanc is a grape variety. It's grown throughout the world. The wines are dry, light, and crisp. And again, not very expensive. An alternative to Sauvignon Blanc is Pinot Grigio. Pinot Grigio is a grape, is grown widely in Italy, and the wines are, again, are very light styled and easy drinking. Excellent for a risotto. I hope that helps.
Thank you, Jacques. I always take his advice. It's great advice. Okay, the next thing I need, to remember the mushroom liquid that we got from the mushrooms. I'm gonna add a little water until it gets to be 2 cups. And it's great flavor, and I'm gonna add it to the chicken stock. So I'm just gonna let that come up to a simmer. In the meantime, I'm gonna add saffron. Saffron's this really great spice, and it's the stamens of crocuses. Can you imagine that job? I'm gonna add about ½ teaspoon of salt, ½ teaspoon of pepper, This just smells fantastic. The mushrooms, and you can smell the shallots and pancetta. And as it continues, you can really smell the saffron too, that spiciness. I'm just gonna keep adding 2 ladles of stock every 5 to 10 minutes until the risotto's done. After 5 to 10 minutes, the liquid will have been absorbed into the rice, so add the next 2 ladles. Keep stirring it every few minutes and wait until it seems a little dry before adding more stock. Keep adding the stock 2 ladles at a time until the rice is completely cooked through, but still al dente. It'll take 25 to 30 minutes. Oh, this looks like such good risotto. And the key is that it's really creamy. It's not dry at all. Fantastic. Okay, one more thing to put in, Parmesan cheese. I'm gonna put in about 2/3 of a cup of grated Parmesan cheese. I always grate it in the food processor. It's faster, and I like the texture of the graininess of it. Fantastic. Just stir that in. Classic risotto has saffron and Parmesan, chicken stock and wine. So good. But you can really put anything into it, and the wild mushrooms really enhance that. You have to make sure it's good now. This smells fantastic. And always a little more Parmesan cheese on the top. How Italian is that? Just gotta make sure it's delicious. I love wild mushrooms. So complex, the flavor. And I have to tell you, the wine makes all the difference in the world. It just gives it a really nice edge. This is one of my favorite meals ever. Butternut squash is the perfect thing for risotto with saffron. The saffron's really spicy, and the butternut squash is really sweet. When you're peeling butternut squash, you want to use a nice sharp peeler, not those sort of vegetable peelers that you find in the hardware store. You want something really good, and this one's really sharp. This is the quickest way I find to peel it. Just peel the entire outside, and then get a really good, big, sharp knife, major knife. Cut it in half. Keep your fingers out of the way, just like that. Cut off the end like that. So stand it up, cut it in half. You can boil this, but instead I'm going to actually roast it. I think it really brings out the sweetness, sort of caramelizes it a little bit. So this part's the easy part. Just a good dice. So that's the top of it. And then the bottom, just gonna cut it in half, take out the seeds. You can actually roast those, they're like pumpkin seeds. But I prefer the butternut squash. And then again, just do big cubes. They don't have to be perfect squares, so don't obsess about it. Okay, that's one butternut squash. A little olive oil, salt and pepper. Okay, toss it all together. Into the oven, 400 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes until it's really tender and sweet. Butternut squash is already in the oven. It smells so good. I need 6 cups of chicken stock. I really like to use homemade chicken stock, but if you don't have it, use a can. Okay, now some pancetta. Pancetta is Italian bacon, but frankly, any kind of good quality bacon would do too. So I'm just going to dice it up. It gives great flavor to risotto. So some butter, about 6 tablespoons into the pot, and the pancetta. I need 2 large shallots, or about a half a cup. Okay, now I need 1.5 cups of arborio rice. It's the Italian rice, really special for risotto. Just gonna pour it right in. Okay, that's good. All the rice is coated with butter, so it's perfect. Now I'm gonna add a half a cup of white wine. Now this is the key to good risotto. is you want to add chicken stock by the ladleful, 2 ladles at a time. If you add it too fast, the risotto cooks on the outside and not on the inside. If you add it too slowly, it gets mushy. 2 ladles, and then I'm going to add the key ingredient, which is saffron, which I love. It's spicy. It's the stamens of crocuses, which is why it's so expensive. About a teaspoon of saffron. Give it a stir. And then probably take about 25 minutes. As the stock is absorbed into the rice, you just want to add another few ladles full. Needs just a little more stock. Butternut squash is perfect. You want to do this as soon as the risotto is completely cooked and the rice is done. Just stir it in. And the last thing I need is 1 cup of grated Parmesan, and this is the most delicious lunch, all in one pot. And the good news is, it's ready. Spring green risotto is a great quick dinner. If I have some fresh and frozen vegetables around the house and some arborio rice in the pantry, I can make dinner in 30 minutes. So I've got some asparagus, about a pound. For this, I like to use thin ones, and I cut them in about 1-inch lengths. I'm just gonna shock them. It's shocking. What it does is keep them bright green. Every single risotto starts with a base. This is how I make the base. First, you heat 1½ tablespoons of good olive oil and 1½ tablespoons of unsalted butter over medium heat. Add 3 cups of chopped leeks. I use the white and light green parts. Then add 1 cup of chopped fennel and saute it for 5 to 7 minutes. When the vegetables are tender, it's time for the rice to go in. 1½ cups of arborio rice. It's the classic Italian risotto rice. Stir it for a minute to coat all the grains and vegetables with a little oil and butter. When the rice is coated, pour 2/3 of a cup of dry white wine, you want to use a good one, and simmer it over low heat, stirring it almost constantly until most of the wine has been absorbed. Then begin ladling in simmering chicken stock, 2 ladles at a time, stirring it almost constantly and waiting for the stock to be absorbed before adding more. So that's the base, and you can really take it in almost any direction. So the first thing I want to add is the asparagus that I blanched. Right in. And I've got lots of frozen vegetables, which I always have in the freezer. 1 10-ounce package of frozen peas defrosted, and I love frozen artichokes, so I'm just gonna put that in. That was 8 ounces of frozen artichoke hearts defrosted. Okay, I'm gonna give it a little freshness. I like to use lemon zest in this. I like when dishes like this have a little bit of an edge, and lemon always does that. Parmesan does that, things that are salty, vinegary. So I'm gonna use a tablespoon of lemon zest, which is a lot. Okay, and then salt. It's a lot of risotto. It needs about a tablespoon of salt. It's gonna really absorb into it. And 1½ teaspoons of pepper. Then just keep on stirring it, adding a little chicken stock as you go, until it's absorbed, and then add a little more until the rice is really al dente, just the way you would have pasta. Okay, the risotto's done, and I have a few extra things to give it even more flavor. First is mascarpone. It's like really good Italian cream cheese, about 1/3 of a cup. It's just gonna melt into it and thicken it. Just gonna stir it right in. The heat's gonna melt it. Can't have risotto without Parmesan. So it's 1/2 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. I actually grind it in a food processor. I love the texture of it. Okay, now I'm gonna add freshly squeezed lemon juice, about 2 tablespoons. Just give it even more flavor. You can really use any kind of fresh herbs that you have in the house. So 3 tablespoons. I love the oniony flavor of chives. It's sort of a mild onion thing. Oh, this is so good. Big bowl of risotto. Love all the vegetables. Maybe a little sprinkling of chive, a little Parmesan cheese. This looks so delicious. I think this may be my absolutely favorite risotto. Crab and pea risotto, an incredibly comforting one-pot meal. So I'm making crab and pea risotto, and it starts with 6 to 8 cups of simmering seafood stock. Then next I have 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of oil, and they're melted in a big Dutch oven. To make the whole thing in this one pot. I'm going to add some flavorings. Half a cup of fennel, finely diced. You want this risotto to have great flavor. Half a cup of shallots, finely diced. And I love fennel with seafood. And these are poblano peppers. They're kind of warm. They're not really, really hot, and it just gives a little kick. You don't want boring risotto. I'm just going to saute these for about 5 minutes. Perfectly cooked. Okay, now I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of garlic, chopped minced garlic. You don't want to cook the garlic too much because it'll burn, so I'm just going to cook it for a minute. I'm going to add half a teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes, give it a little heat, along with the poblano peppers, half a teaspoon of saffron. Saffron's critical for risotto. I love saffron. I don't know what it is about saffron, but I really miss it when it's not in risotto. It's just got a heat. It's got this really subtle flavor, but it's really important. I love it. And it makes risotto yellow, which is gorgeous. Okay, next is the thyme from my garden. So I'm just going to put it in right over the pot. 1 teaspoon of fresh thyme leaves. And just strip the leaves and just run your finger right down the stem. You end up with fresh thyme. Okay, next is the rice. So it's Italian arborio rice. You really need to use that. I'm just going to put 1.5 cups in. And this is the key. You want to stir it and make sure each grain of rice is coated with butter. This smells amazing. Arborio rice really has the right amount of starchiness for risotto. It's got a creaminess when you're done that really is perfect for this dish. Next is the wine. Can't make risotto without wine. So I need 1 cup of white wine. I'm using a good Italian wine, Pinot Grigio. And just pour it in. Okay, just give that a stir. I'm just going to cook this until the wine evaporates, and so the flavor is absorbed into the rice. Okay, next, a little bit of a process. Add stock, stir, and repeat. So I'll keep stirring for 5 minutes, then add a ladle full of stock. My tip is to use a 1/2 cup ladle, so it makes it easy to see how much you add. Then keep stirring, and when the seafood stock is almost completely absorbed, add another 1/2 cup of stock. And just keep going, adding stock until the rice is al dente. It takes about 25 minutes. Okay, now I'm going to add a little creme fraiche. It's going to give it a little richness. So 1/2 cup of creme fraiche. Just always tastes better. Just stir that in. Okay, next are salt and pepper. About 2 teaspoons of salt. I want to make sure it's really well seasoned, as everything else. And about 1 teaspoon of pepper. Okay, next are the crab meat. So I have about 1 pound of lump crab meat, and it's not the shredded kind, it's the, big pieces. I mean, you can use the shredded kind, but you won't really taste it as much. It'll flavor it, but it won't really have the bite that this does. It's particularly good. It's a little more expensive, but it's really worth it. Just put that in, along with peas. I use frozen defrosted peas. They're perfectly good. If peas are in season, they're even better. But it just takes so much time. And frozen peas are really pretty good, and they're already blanched. How good does this look for dinner? An entire dinner in one pot. Okay, now I need a big bowl so I can taste it. I mean, the key to this is just make sure that the rice is cooked through. It's not mushy, it's al dente. And there's still a lot of creaminess in the sauce. You can see how it's not thick, it's really creamy. And then at the end, I love to add a few things just at the top. Some fresh chives. Nice thing about chives is they're always in season. And if they're not in the garden, you can get them at the store. Just little chives on top. Just give it a little oniony freshness and a little lemon zest, which I like with seafood. You can put it in the pot or on each bowl, but there's no cheese in this at all. Italians never put cheese with seafood. Jeffrey once was at a restaurant in Milan and asked for Parmesan for a seafood pasta, and the waiter just went, like, no, you can't have it. We still laugh about that. Oh, this looks incredible. See how creamy it is? I really taste all the flavors, the crab meat and the peppers. Fennel, saffron. This is one big bowl of comfort. So what I do is I throw everything in one big pot. And I've got 1.5 cups of rice. You really need to use arborio rice. It's got the right amount of starch for it. 4 cups of chicken stock. I really prefer homemade. This is 5 cups. I'm gonna put 4 in now and then add the rest later. And the best part is, put the lid on, put it in the oven, 350 degrees for 45 minutes. No standing, no stirring. Set a timer and forget about it. And then afterwards, I'm gonna add all the things that are delicious in risotto. Parmesan cheese, wine, peas. This is gonna be really good. The rice has been cooking in the oven for about 45 minutes, and now we're gonna make it into really delicious risotto. Ah, perfect. I want the rice just done. It's called al dente, just like pasta. It's just great. Now it needs lots of delicious things. So it's just gonna go on the cooktop. I'm gonna add the last cup of stock, which I've kept warm. Just pour it right in. 1/2 cup of white wine. It's all the same ingredients as risotto, just the process is different. I like to use an Italian wine, like a Pinot Grigio. 3 tablespoons of butter. If it's cold, just dice it up so it melts into the risotto. Right in. A cup of Parmesan cheese, the key ingredient for risotto. And now, this is what really makes the difference. You actually stir it really vigorously for about 2 to 3 minutes. And what it does is bring out the starch in the rice. And it makes it creamy and thick and absolutely delicious. So instead of stirring it for 25 or 30 minutes and adding a little stock and driving yourself crazy, you just stir it for 2 to 3 minutes, which I have to tell you is longer than you think it is. Okay, now the last ingredient, peas. And I'm gonna use frozen peas, but don't tell anyone. There are a couple of frozen vegetables I think are fantastic, and peas are one of them. So I need 1 cup of frozen peas. You don't even have to defrost them, just dump them right in. 2 teaspoons of salt. A teaspoon of pepper. Good news about this kind of risotto is you can really put anything in it. If you want saffron or you want artichokes, you can just put it right into the basic mix. Just reheat it slightly, make sure it's really hot, and then you gotta taste it and see if it's any good. And this could be lunch. Well, it looks fantastic. It's so good.